The roadmap is pretty clear for us. We are looking at bringing in generative AI and agentic AI together. When we are looking at the agentic AI, there are use cases, and if you were there upstairs today, you would have heard about 180 plus use cases which are already there. We are speaking to the customers. Some customers have gone live with that. And when you're looking at generative AI as such, there are certain use cases which we have already built, and even SAP has done some of the generative use cases inside our own organization. Now, when you talk about that in the India data center context, India data center is already live for the entire ERP ecosystem. When you're looking at line of business, it is live for Reba. When you're looking at hire to retire, basically employees, then it is live for success factors as well. So we are putting in all these capabilities from an application standpoint and also from an AI standpoint. We're building that in as of today in the India data center as well. So roadmap is clear as what happens globally, and for India also, SAP has pledged that the entire use cases are going to get into the India DC as well. And one more thing I would like to top up, not sure if you heard it, uh, about 25% of patents on new technology are actually getting generated from India for SAP. That is the highest outside of our headquarters in Germany. So there's a new campus also which is coming up for R&D, and the labs basically is going to have another set of campus. That's where we're going to employ more people as well. So that is how we are committed to AI in India. Cloud is going to get you the new set of innovations very, very clearly. And it is pretty evident the innovation which is happening not only on our side, but let's say any technology company outside, it is happening on the cloud. Now, as a customer, when you are empowering yourself with the SAP cloud business, you're actually going to get the goodness of all the new innovations which are going to get into all these areas. All of this intelligence we are building into the system, and that is what the customers are using now to ensure that they are compliant, they're reliable, they're actually doing the work within the policy framework defined by the organization, and that is what is making the difference back for all these companies. Logically, if you look at it, the obligation as SAP, as a provider, to go back to our customers and say, we are going to give you the best in class AI experience. And that's an obligation we have taken on us. Now, how we are basically, helping our customers transform better is where the crux of the matter lies. So there are about, like I said, there are about 180 use cases which are already there on AI, which we are already providing back to our customers. There was one, which I remember, a public sector company which were asking us, if I want to go out and do closure of my books, is there a way that Joule can help me do closure of the books? And I think we showed a glimpse of that, upstairs in SAP Now today. But then what I'm trying to get to is AI is going to make life easier for companies. So whether the new age companies or companies like SAP, we are building on top of our enterprise applications the AI layer. On the other hand, I think the new age companies, they are basically looking at starting on that part as well. So AI is going to be evident, and it is on us now how fast paced we can do that in order to ensure that we give the best in class back to our customers. When are you converting from ECC to S4 HANA? And they would say, you know what, we are happy with what we are doing right now, and probably it's not time for us to go from SAP ECC to S4 HANA. If you look at the evolution of technology, for that matter, the disruption which is happening across the globe right now, if you do not have the best in class technology, you're going to get stuck. And therefore, SAP realized that we need to have technology which is real time. We understand on prem probably was a thing of the past. You help us and make me understand, if I change from on prem to cloud, the advantage which I'm going to get out of it, what is going to be the impact. And therefore, all those business cases we prepared for each and every customer of ours. And while the business value was proven back to them, the customers actually found it easy to take a decision, well, it's totally making sense. I'm getting my ROI, and therefore it is time for me to actually go from on-prem to on-cloud. The customer value journey is happening the moment we justify the business case back to them. So I think the ROI got the customer convinced that yes, there is value from going from on-prem to cloud. Honestly, of course, we are going back to the customer. The customers are also getting back to us. So it's a win-win for all of us. Now, when we are talking about how SAP is actually collaborating or creating those APIs where two systems can connect with each other. Now, these systems may have something to do with a system which SAP has built, or probably it's an extension which we have built with our partner, which we probably would have built with our customer, or which we would have probably built with a government market space. And I'm proud to tell you that we took up that challenge on us, and we are actually working with a few government sector companies wherein we are identifying how we are going to connect with ONDC. And if somebody like me in an organization which is a PSU wants to get onto a system and buy something, I can literally connect with ONDC. So as a customer, I'm worried that people should adhere to the law, and between the policy framework, they should actually submit the taxes well in time. We have developed a particular API with one of our partners in India where the API can actually send data back to me, take it from the government website, the source which is open source available, and tell me, you know what, there is a supplier who is taking GST from you in time, but when they are submitting it to government, 40% of the time they're delaying the payment back to the government, and therefore I become liable. So that is another innovation which we have taken to the market, very well received by the customers. So, compliance and sustainability, I was looking at a CEO survey which was being done by Gartner, and compliance was literally point number three, agreed by 40% of the CEOs, saying compliance is pretty important for them. And sustainability, point number seven, which was done by almost 25% of the CEOs, they are saying we need to have sustainable practices. Now, again, it's an obligation to SAP that we have to develop a system which is compliant, which is taking care of the interests of its customers, and it is forward looking to ensure that we are looking at the sustainability part as well. When I meet a CFO, I ask them, you do your profit and loss statement every quarter, and you have to get to the street, you have to tell SEBI demands it, you're a public company, etc., etc. But then at the same time, do you have your green ledger? So while I'm very happy I'm doing good on profit and loss, how about your green ledger? How are you doing on sustainability? So all these questions are getting asked continuously at a regular interval by all these companies, and they are asking us, how can you help me make my processes sustainable and at the same time be compliant to the regulatory aspect or the regulatory framework which is also being defined inside my organization. And that is where we have already developed systems which can actually track your scope 3 emissions. We already have a product called the SDX, we call it Supplier Data Exchange. If you look at the UN framework which is defined on sustainability, there are about 19 criteria you have to fulfill. Out of those, the function which I'm handling, which is finance and spend management, we address 13 of them, 1 3. And what essentially it means is one of the criteria is how much carbon is getting generated by employees in your organization. Now, charity starts at home. The thing has to start at home as well. So I need to be sustainable myself first to go ahead and say how the company is going to be sustainable. So we have given those ways and means back to our customers to say, do not worry, we are looking at a green ledger for you. We are looking at employee creating carbon emissions for you. We are also looking at scope 3 for you. And therefore, here are the line of products which can actually help you become compliant, become sustainable in nature, whichever part of the world you are in. That is how we are looking at it. When you look at the kind of use cases we are bringing from a localized standpoint, for example, if I am doing an invoicing with a particular supplier, there is an IRN portal of Government of India. The invoice has to be 5 copies made, barcoded, and it should come back into my system. What it essentially means is the system should be capable enough of getting this invoices back into our system after getting out from the IRN portal of Government of India. All of this we are customizing to the need of the customers on our B2B platform, scaling it to the level which is unimaginable totally. So customers who are actually looking at customizations or configurations beyond the product of SAP, which SAP has already to offer as a standalone inside the system in the portfolio. On BTP also now we are basically creating those extensions and helping our customers. So I think in those ways there are a lot of innovations which are planned from a localization standpoint as well, and maybe very specific to customers' use case as well. I'm going to start with the first part of it, where basically there are personas which we are looking at. We are looking at CFOs or CIOs, CPOs, Chief of Supply Chain, Chief HR. All of them have their own set of requirements. Now, these set of requirements, when we are building AI or when we are building generative AI use cases, there are a lot of underlying factors which we are looking at. For example, you touched upon security. We the phenomena for us is pretty simple when we are talking about, and we call it business AI. We're not calling it AI, we're calling it business AI. It has to be reliable, it has to be relevant, and it has to be related to the use case which we are talking. So that is the definition which we are saying it's going to be for business AI. Now when we are looking at those kind of set of data, we understand these personas pretty well. And for the security and data measures, we have already taken the SOC approvals or certifications which are required, and we are following all those in order to ensure that the data is safe for the customer, the AI is secure for the customer, and that is where we are following the global guidelines defined on artificial intelligence. So I think that becomes very important, and that is at the core, or that is the center theme of SAP building all its AI product on.